Yeah, I'm interested to see how the Devils plays will go here. So game one,
Devil's Play is interesting as a one of.
3 is more of a commitment to it than that, though.
Yeah,
The thing is
three's a lot.
Yeah, the flashback's a little ambitious on it. Is all. So what Brandon's this matchup's really gonna come down to is Brandon's going to try to essentially game one. I would say, cheese him out of the game with a sword is going to be his main goal. He's going to have to try to get a very fast start and then sword him.
Post-board, he seems to have more.
Post-board, he has
He has increasing savagery, which could be pretty.
Which
savage.
Is for this matchup. He has more Sword of Feast of Famine. I don't know how many savagery. I think he's just 1 savagery.
Yeah, he has 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
But were you to draw, this is the matchup you want it for. Brandon, a hand with a turn 1 mana Landwar Elves, probably very keepable. And it has Forest Landwar Elves double Geist, with just a single land makes it kind of scary. I think you still keep it. Brandon's contemplating. Okay, Brandon does keep it. So turn 1 Mountain out of McNertney. Brandon Forest into Landwar Elves. And there's a Titan drawn by McNertney, and he's going to play Rootbound Crag, cast Rampant Growth.
Yeah. And it's especially bad for Brandon because he's on the draw.
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to be extremely difficult for him to kill David before David gets to,
Gets to
prime
Titanville.
time. Also interesting, you'd expect if you're going to play that many Devil's Plays, then Primeval Titan becomes by far your best card.
Right.
So why not play 4 of it?
That's pretty true. I'm not sure. You certainly wouldn't want to cut down on Hunt Masters. I think the real answer is that you just don't need that much Devil's Play.
Yeah.
Shuffle and cut. I don't think Billy Brandon has a second land yet. He's going to draw. So now he's going to have to decide between a Strangle Rootgeist and another Landwar Elves.
Yeah, I think he has access to double mana creature this turn if he wants, so birds and a Landwar Elves.
That's very vulnerable to Slagstorm.
Yeah,
but I think it's the play he has to make.
It is the play you have to make, and it's unfortunate because if David just has so many lines which just crush him then.
Right.
But
and he's going to go double mana creature and pass the turn. All right, so here's the check. Do you have Slagstorm? McNertney not slamming it down right away, which kind of makes me think he does not have it. If he had it, I feel like we'd just be like, oh, and Slagstorm. Or maybe he does, and he does. Okay.
Yeah.
And the slow rolls, the tank Slagstorm. All right, Strangle Rootgeist is going to get in there, though.
Yeah, David down to 18 here. On his heels.
Brandon's still with a little bit of shot on this. He does have another Strangle Rootgeist. David with the 5th land. The question is, does he have a 6th? The 6th would be backbreaking, because he does. We do know he has Primeval Titan. And he's going to go for, I believe, a Solum. Okay, so there's the 6th land. That's very bad news for Brandon.
And it's not only a 6th land, it's also
a blocker and a draw card.
Solemn Simulacrum, powerful spell.
Definitely. Yeah, really strong on this kind of board. All right, Brandon with his 3rd land's coming a little too late. He's going to. I'm kind of just contemplating here.
Interesting angles this card.
Well, he has a galvanic. Yeah, he has a galvanic blast, I believe, and he can go blast Strangle Rootgeist. He's gonna instead Zenith for another Geist. Okay, so he has a 3rd Geist in his hand, which I actually really like this play. Then he's gonna try. He's gonna have to win through this Titan somehow. So McNertney goes on to 16, and the 1st Geist persists.
That seems like a good play. I mean, it forces.
Yeah. Psychedelic die here.
I don't even know what to say. It's so.
I'm just entranced. Oh,
Whoa.
now it stopped. All right. All right. So now, the scary thing is that you have to. A lot of Brandon's deck becomes really dead after a Titan. So, and he only has David at 16 with pre-Titan. He at this point has to hope that the Titan's green and not red. If the Titan's red, it's just. Okay, it's only green.
It's
so.
only a green Titan.
Only, in quotes. You know. He can, with another Geist, he can push McNertney down to 12.
Yeah.
I believe, no, Brandon hasn't, okay, he's playing the Galvanic Blast over some of the Brimstone Volleys, so some of his reach will be gone. He's Zenithing again for a third Strangleroot Geist. He's going to swing all three. Titan will block a non-undying Geist. Well, I mean, if that to me feels like McNertney has another Slag Storm coming.
Yeah, it feels
maybe.
like there's a Slag Storm in his hand.
So he'll go down to 12.
If there's not a Slag Storm in his hand, then he may have just found a way to lose.
It's possible. Waiting for shuffle. He does have 2 Ink Moths, so he does have enough blockers. So you don't really want to chump a 3/2 Geist with an Ink Moth, because that resets the Undying.
Yeah.
So, that's, I mean, I guess it's a block you can make, but one that you're really not thrilled about making.
Yeah, I don't think you...
And yeah, he just happens to have another Slag Storm. Okay, yeah, that's pretty strong. 2 more Geists are binned, and I think he should be able to carry this one home.
Yeah, and here comes Primeval Titan.
And 2 more lands. Brandon not with
So
much
many free
reach from
cards.
11. You know, Brandon's got to be pretty up. Like when you see the block on the 2/1 Geist, you kind of know what's coming, but you don't have too much play around it.
Yeah, at that point, you know, he's really forced to tap his lands pre-combat if that's his plan, and then. See if David has a play post-combat here. Make things really backbreaking.
Doesn't need too much, just even something like
Just any random thing.
any creature should be good enough here. And it's probably, is it going to be Huntmaster on top of that?
Thrun.
Thrun. That's, okay. That should get a concession pretty quick here.
Yeah.
No. Brandon contemplating. Yeah, he's going to concede. So game 1 to the ramp player, I think this matchup is probably the worst matchup for the red-green aggro deck. In specific, Brandon has been medding toward his deck. So I said he's playing less we play the Pro Tour. He's taken a lot of the ramp cards out of the deck, the cards for the ramp matchup. So he's gone smaller. He's gone more Galvanic Blast, fewer Brimstone Volley, and he's cut down to 1 increasing Savagery, which is very good against a lot of decks. It's going to make him pretty weak here. Out of the board.
I mean, it makes him much better against like the traditional Delver list.
Absolutely. Out of the sideboard, McNertney could board into. He has 2 Wormcoil Engine, which he could just play those over. I actually think over the Primeval Titans, possibly.
Oh, you just bring them over the Devil's Place.
Yeah, probably over the Devil's Play. Devil's Play is. I mean, I don't like the Devil's Play in the first place, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe he really likes the Devil's Plays a lot, and we just don't.
He also has 2 Into the Maw of Hell in his sideboard.
Maybe he just likes the flavor.
It seems okay against other ramp decks. Kill a Titan, blow up a land.
He could get something that a bit increasing savagery.
I mean, if they're playing Phyrexian Obliterator, it's a really strong card. I mean, you'd love to play into people playing. He has a Rack with Madness in his deck for the Obliterator. Maybe you're just like, wait, I can 1-up Rack with Madness on Obliterator. I can Into the Maw of Howlet. That's
Then
so good.
all
I
of his
can't
permanents are
can't lose if that happens. just impossible.
Because, I mean, they lose their guy and one of their lands, and I
And then
lose all my
13.
permanents. Doesn't
Yeah,
he lose
yeah.
all his permanents?
Yeah, he loses all his permanents. Okay.
So looking at Brandon's sideboard, so Feast and Famine, really good here. Active Aggression, really good here. Increasing Savagery, really good here. Anything else you really want him to bring in? The Metamorph.
Metamorph's okay. He has a Garruk Primal Hunter, which is okay here. I think what you need to do is his cards, which are like Galvanic Blast, need to come out. You want to still keep in the Mana Birds, because your plan is to really just like cheese them out by going like Bird, Sword, Bird Savagery, something really, just some very fast, huge threat.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna probably stay pretty small. But yeah, he has 4 Galvanic Blast. I think all of those get cut.
So in place of that, he can bring in a Feast and Famine, Savagery,
And 2 Active Aggression.
2 Active Aggression. And then, yeah, I could see him bringing in Primal Hunter also.
Yeah, maybe.
And Metamorph.
I'm trying to think about that. Metamorph's fine. One of the problems is even when you clone their Titan, they are better at playing Titans than you are. But Brandon's really going to want to see one of his board cards here.
Ideally, increasing Savagery.
Ideally increasing Savagery, yeah. I know when you're playing Twitter, we were playing a full 3 of them. But yeah, I mean, Ramp's gotten pretty popular. Active Aggression, though, we had 0 Active Aggression. Active Aggression is also a very strong Ramp card. It's like, it's on the same level as Savagery, I think. What you need is cards. The problem is red green.
If you have enough of an aggressive start and you can back it up with that, then
red green's
obviously.
not fast enough to win before they cast a Titan. So like the idea behind board cards is you need to get things that are still relevant once a Titan is on the board, and that's the hard part. The Titans are so big and dominating that like it's very hard. A lot of your cards, Strangleroot Geist becomes completely dead.
So do you think Titans are going to be back the core set this summer?
I don't think they will be. I think. I've heard some people saying, that they've been really had a very kind of strong impact on the metagame, and we couldn't just one and done them because they were so iconic the first time. So they did bring them back for a second time around. I think the game will be more interesting without them right now.
I agree.
Yeah, cards that are 4 and 5 drops are generally pretty hard to play because of the existence of Titans. It's really hard to justify playing something that isn't a Titan if you're in the market for a big creature.
Yeah, I mean, Baneslayer Angel. I know it's not legal, but I mean that card would not see a lick of play right now.
No.
That's kind of sad.
I mean, yeah, after the Titans came out, Baneslayer Angel, the amount of play it saw really decreased. There were still some matchups where it was a pure trump in it, but that was it. All right, Brandon on the play. Both players appear to have kept 7s.
All right.
And he will start on nothing. No mana creature. It appears that he's boarded in Metamorphs. Turn 2, so he always keeps them with a threat. He's going to play Garruk's Companion.
Yeah. Woof.
It's still pretty good here. It's even
adorable.
if you have the Strangleroot Geist, it's probably the stronger play. It's better on damage to get him out there and then Geist next turn.
He's going to be getting in for at least 3.
Yeah. McNertney with no turn 2 rampant growth. That's pretty good for Brandon. He's gonna Geist and whoa, swing him 180. Drops McNertney to 15.
In there hard. To McNertney.
And Downs missing? He's missing his land drop again, I believe. No, he has a land, right? Is that top card a forest of some sort? Well, he's contemplating a play, which makes me. Oh no, he just passes the turn. So Brandon's only on 2 creatures, and we're going to see a Slagstorm. Which, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Brandon can recommit. He does have a Birds of Paradise in his hand. It almost feels like he didn't play Birds of Paradise on purpose, because he felt like a Slagstorm was... He was already forcing his opponent to play a Slagstorm, so Birds was not a really necessary play. He's going to play Birds and Pilgrim now. So
And that's quite good.
Barring a second Slagstorm, that'll be very good. I believe he has a sword, so he'll threaten sword equip. And we'll see Thrun. That should be that's manageable.
That is manageable.
Sort of Feast and Famine equip.
That's
really strong
really,
now, dealing
really good.
5 and dropping McNertney to 7. He'll discard and Brandon will untap.
And sort of Feast and Famine. Always good against the Primal Titan decks.
Definitely. It's, like I said, the trick is you need a card that's relevant in a post-Titan matchup, and Sword does that. He will discard a Kessig Wolfron. Brandon will untap. I believe, does he have a red-white sword too?
I think he does.
I feel like that's what comes down.
I feel like you're right.
You turn the Geist into a Master at Arms. Just go. You can get pro his whole deck.
You could also just play Metamorph as a second copy of Feast and Famine if you want, right here.
That's true too. I think I like War Piece. He's gonna go Metamorph. We're not sure. See, with Metamorph, I'd almost want to Metamorph the Geist.
That's reasonable.
Well, another Feast and Famine. So he's really just going at David's hand now.
And, I mean, David probably has to play land this turn.
Well, David needs something, because if he equips the sword to the Avacyn's Pilgrim and swings, that's 7. That's lethal. Actually, sorry, if he just equips it to his Geist, it's lethal. I was like, that's why you don't need Sword of War and Peace. Okay. Solemn Simulacrum, that'll be able to block Strangleroot Geist for a turn. I think you still get... What he doesn't know is that... Let's see. I guess there's no way for... If Brandon draws a land... Okay, the Morph is on Strangleroot Geist.
Oh, he did choose Strangleroot Geist.
Okay.
I like that.
That's pretty good, too. So what he can do is if he puts War and Peace on the morphed Strangleroot Geist, I think David will have to block both. And he'll have to. The Thrun will trade with the guy with the morph, which will then come back as something else. I think Brandon's in a very good situation here.
It seems pretty rough for
So
David at this point.
McNertney does not have Ancient Grudges in his board, which is...
Wow, that seems like one of the most appealing parts about playing red and green.
He has 2 Viridian Corruptors, but this is a lot of times against a regular aggro deck, Wolf Run will side in Ancient Grudges, basically to stop what you see right here from happening. So he's going to tap for... That is...
Is that Acidic Slime?
Yeah, Acidic Slime hitting the Solemn. McNertney will draw.
And
he'll swing Strangleroot Geist. He just wants the Geist
Pilgrim
to trade.
not coming in?
Pilgrim's not coming.
Oh, I guess that means he can play the sword and equip post-combat.
Yeah, it doesn't actually change the speed right now. I think he just wants Strangleroot Geist to trade with Metamorph. Okay, so McNertney's going to go to 2. Metamorph's going to die. And he's going to have it undie back as... Now I got to think about it.
Slime?
Birds of Paradise is actually a pretty reasonable thing to have it come back as. He's going to equip Sword of War and Peace to it. And that's all his cards, but that should be enough. Okay, and McNertney's packing it up. So going to game 3, he morphs into Slime. Sure. So that's the board plan. Pretty well executed by Brandon here. He's got to race that Titan, which he was able to do on that board.
And I mean, David got somewhat lucky there. David got somewhat unlucky there, not having a turn 2 ramp spell.
So he did have the Slag. I think he kept it based on the Slag Storm, which that card is
very good.
Very good, and he has a full 4 in the main. So, I mean, on the play, I think McNertney's still a strong favorite to win here, but shows you that there's game on Brandon's side. Huntmaster, the scarier thing, and why I think Wolfram became a really good deck here, was that Huntmaster of the Fells kind of provides them a stopping point along the way, especially against a deck like Red Green Aggro is more than a stopping point. Red Green Aggro has to struggle a little bit just to beat a Huntmaster, and McNertney has 4 of them, but that's actually not the focus of his deck.
Yeah, like he goes even bigger.
Right, but I mean, so while Brandon's Trust would struggle and try to answer the Huntmaster, he'll be like, oh, and by the way, Inferno Titan.
And then it's over.
And then it's over. So Still a tough match for Brandon, but he has a game. See if he can get a second.
Yeah, again, from David's list, I'm surprised that at least one of those corruptors can be an Ancient Grudge.
Yeah, David might be reboarding, I think, at this point. If he hadn't boarded in his corruptors, I think he is doing it now. It's possible that he boarded out Acidic Slime in this matchup. I would have. It seems like 5 mana for a 2/2 is just, I think, is pretty hard to manage. The corruptor seems better. It's something you can cast.
That makes sense. I mean, in general, Acidic Slime is not the best sword answer.
Right.
It's a fine sword answer. It's completely reasonable. Its versatility makes it, pretty good overall. But if you're really trying to deal with swords, you want to have a card like Ancient Grudge, or at the very least Viridian Corruptor, something that costs less mana. The difference between 5 and 2 or 3 is just massive.
Definitely.
Now, and being on the draw here for Brandon, there are a few things he really needs to dodge, and I mean, I think in a lot of ways, his plan kind of just has to be to steal the game with active aggression.
Yeah, his plan still is to steal the game. In that board,
Or savagery.
Yeah, and that, for example, we just saw, I think, sort of Feast and Famine stole that game, for example. Without that card, I don't think Brandon wins. Each game he's trying to steal. I mean, I don't mean that he's not supposed to win, but he's trying to. The thing about the ramp decks is they kind of have to play with the cards that are dealt. They can't do much on top of that. So he's going to try to land some sort of threat that McNertney doesn't have an immediate answer to. So increasing savagery in a lot of ways, the green, kind of like one of our jokes was, it's the green angelic destiny, was I think one of the nicknames we'd given for it.
It's quite good.
It's a lot of counters. It's very efficient.
If you're playing against a deck that needs to kill your guys by burn spells, you've Birds of Paradise becoming a 5/6 dragon.
I believe we have Brandon on a mulligan. Is that correct? Okay, Brandon is going down to 6 cards.
I mean, he knows that he can't keep a hand that's in any way slow.
Right.
He needs to have an aggressive hand.
Yeah, his hand will need to be fast. That said, though, because he's going for a cheese out plan, it's what he can keep. There's a lot of things that he can keep as a result. Maybe are both players on 6? Possibly. They're both on 7.
Yep.
Okay, they're both on 7 cards. Turn 1 of David, no play. Brandon's gonna go with the turn 1 mana creature. And I think I see a Sword of Feast Famine in his hand. So he's probably just gonna slam it. Emissary out of McNertney. Well, if that is the Feast and Famine, well, Emissary is going to. Yep, Sword of Feast and Famine doesn't really care about Emissary.
Not at all.
Which McNertney's in the awkward position where he has to. If he has a Slagstorm here, he probably plays it. I mean, it's a bad rampant growth, but okay, sure. That sword can really just do a number on him. Brandon has the second sword in his hand too, so Brandon could be on the plan of sword, untap, play more sword, hook that up. 2 damage by McNertney for the Emissary. Yeah, that's probably not going to be blocking. And is he going to go for the Slagstorm? He's going to go for more Viridian Emissary. I almost don't want to play that because I want to discard it. I mean, if you have the Slagstorm, then I like it. But if you don't, these guys aren't. These ramp spells aren't going to be ramp spells, So Brandon plays Landwar Elves, equips sword, hits him. McNertney down to 17, discarding.
What's he gonna discard here?
And Sword of War Peace out of Brandon. Doing that, discarding Inferno Titan. Yeah, McNertney, I think, needs Slagstorm here. If he has Slagstorm, I think he's fine. If he doesn't have Slagstorm, I don't think he can win this game. I like the Slagstorming, killing 2 guys of each of ours, and being totally okay with it play.
Yeah, I mean, it puts him at 5 lands.
5 lands, clears the board.
It's just
And he
too
doesn't
good here.
have it?
Does
All right.
not have it.
He may be decided he may have Beast Within. He only swung one emissary, which kind of hints at Beast Within for me. Brandon with 2 Kessig Wolf runs, 2 forests, kind of awkward there, but really they're just lands, and that's the part he cares about. What I'd really think would be great would be to see like an increasing savagery out of Brandon. He's going to play another Sword of War and Peace and equip it to the Llanowar Elves. And hit. It's going to hit David for 1,000,000.
Yeah.
So that's
lot of damage.
5 plus 4 cards in Brandon's hand, in David's hand. It's gonna hit him down to 8.
9.
Brandon will gain life, and I think this is exact. You know, this is one of those things. If you're a Wolf Run player out here, you should have Ancient Grudges on your board, and this game is why.
An Ancient Grudge would solve all of these problems.
One grudge would win both of these post-board games.
Mm-hmm. Sort of Feast and Famine, powerful spell.
David's still contemplating. I don't think he has a Beast Within or anything. They're discussing something. Brandon's probably explaining that he's stacking his triggers, you know, in the correct way of you take more damage and then you discard. You know, I almost link up another sword. If I'm Brandon at this point, you know, I don't want to get slag stormed. Throw another sword on the Llanowar Elves. Okay, Brandon did nothing. David's gonna swing back, put Brandon to 14. He's gonna cast Slag Storm. That's fine. So David probably just drew the Slag Storm there.
Yeah, I mean, if he had had it earlier, he definitely would have played it.
And that's good. And then Brandon's gonna equip the sword and kill him. So Brandon Downs wins 2 games to 1 over David McNertney.
Yeah.
Winning a bad matchup.
Winning a very bad matchup after losing the die roll.
Yeah.